one and all, welcome to Seeing Through Glass. Welcome to the very pretty Luxembourg. Right now, I'm on my way to Deal and Drive, a local specialist car dealership, and they've got a huge array of very interesting cars. I think today is going to be a very good day. Okay, I have made it to Deal and Drive. Very incognito at this stage. As you can tell, it doesn't really look like a car dealership, but trust me, when we head inside, I think your minds are going to be blown. So there's a very Luxembourg setup. You basically would have no idea that this place was here unless you knew it was here. That's part of the intrigue and the excitement, I think. So yes, I'm going to grab my stuff, head inside and check out or show you what this place is all about. Well, welcome to the Bat Cave. Now, I promise I haven't just been excited to come and visit here because of all the Porsches, but my God, there are some special Porsches. We're going to look at them in a second, but there are some Ferraris here as well, and a Mclaren. So that's all right, isn't it? Let's look at the Porsches. This definitely isn't the most valuable Porsche here today. I mean, just look at that. But it is the one that caught my eye first. You are looking at a PTS, a paint to sample, 718 Cayman GT4. This is ultraviolet. Obviously the colour of the 991.1 GT3 RS, 991. Oh, I've had a complete mind slip. But anyway, it's a GT3 RS colour is all you need to know. And boy, does it work on this GT4. Now, funnily enough, a big YouTuber, Adam LZ, or maybe Adam LZ, if you're from America, has got this colour on his 992 GT3, and it really, really works. But on a GT4, it's also absolutely glorious. And look, Pepita seat inserts. This thing is a dream. Silver wheels. Okay, I'm getting way too nerdy and overexcited. But yes, boys and girls, I really like this. Stepping aside from the GT4, then I have to mention this GT2 RS MR, Manti Racing. This thing essentially was built to destroy the Nürburgring and set a lap time that no one would ever be able to beat. The thing is mad and easy to notice by its kind of, well, it's sort of slightly covered alloy wheels, a bit like modern day F1 cars, all there to help aid with aero. This looks mean. It's kind of subtle but super purposeful and pretty rare to see. So yeah, cool. That is probably what I'm most excited to look at, but we're going to wait because we have some other things to look at. 992 Turbo S Cabriolet, a shark blue 718 Spider, which is quite nice, with the comfort seats. I'm a big fan in the 718s of not having the full bucket. I just think, well, oh, and it's a PDK. Wow, that's a real interesting Spider right there, in an interesting colour. Yeah, with the PDK box, that might be quite nice, I think. Put an exhaust on it, you got yourself a baby speedster. Now, my conspiracy theory about the Turbo S exclusive series continues, because if those of you who watch Drive the World will know, I speculated that every single Turbo S exclusive series is currently for sale. I have only ever seen them in dealerships, and I feel like I've seen about 20 of them all over the world. They're just all in dealerships. They are very cool things, and that is a very nice colour, and those seats are just delicious, but it just seems like, yeah, no one actually wanted to keep it and drive it, so that's a shame. But anyway, I did not know this would be here today, and oh my giddy aunt! I'm starting to feel like the universe is trying to send me some kind of sign on this chip. Of course, I'm here in my beloved 360, but I keep bumping into 992 GT3 Tourings. Hopefully you would have seen my video from a few days ago where I drove from London to Luxembourg and randomly stumbled across a green 992 GT3 Touring. Well, here's another one. And between you and I've spent a huge amount of time on the Porsche configurator for the GT3 with a wing and in touring specification. And this is pretty much my touring spec. It actually mimics an Australian special that Porsche did. It's GT Silver with a blue interior. It's kind of a historic-y type of vibe. It's super subtle. It's gorgeous. It's PDK. Interesting. Oh, I wish this was my life and I was actually going to drive this thing away, but not yet, Sam. Not quite yet. Now, I would argue that for the 992 GT3, it really suits both a manual and a PDK. I think I would automatically have a manual, especially in a touring, but actually, it's just on that borderline of being appropriate for both. And, oh, look at that blue leather, by the way, before I close the door. It's just gorgeous. And yeah, I'm kind of undecided. And actually, talking about sort of indecisions, I've also started to think that maybe in 992 form, the winged version of the GT3 looks a bit better. I just think this kind of body-coloured front bumper can look a bit awkward in some colours, and the back, it's got that really aggressive diffuser. It's just not quite as sort of beautiful, I think, as the 991.2 generation, the predecessor to this car. This is very cool, and as I say, it's pretty much my ideal spec, so I'm sitting here right now going, oh my god, I want it, I need it, I love this thing, but yeah, I don't know, I'm spending too much time essentially looking at GT3s on Instagram and the Porsche configurator, and I've clearly just got my brain in a bit of a mess. Anyway, as a distraction, there's a lovely looking silver 718 Spider, ooh, with the bucket seats. But it's probably time that we stop talking about Porsches. I'm going to be completely out of my depth right now, but I feel like I have to show you this because it's one of 3 Ayrton Senna tribute bikes from a company called Waltzwerk, and it's based on a 1970s Moto Guzzi. That's literally the amount of information I can retain. I don't know anything more about it than that. But Ayrton Senna, you all know my Formula One obsession. This was the sort of 20th anniversary of, sadly, his death, so it came out in 2014. Senna sadly passed away in 1994. Yeah, unbelievably rare, very expensive, kind of more of a piece of art than necessarily a bike you'd go out and ride. It is a stunning thing. Sure, it is good to ride. I don't know much about bikes, but yeah, very cool to see. And so then the final few cars in this level of the bat layer, because yes, there is more, of course, Ferraris. Got a lovely F8 Spider in Rosso Fiorano, which is quite a rare colour actually to see on a modern Ferrari. Very nice Lusso. And then coming across, it's not a Ferrari, it's a McLaren. It's a 620R. Now check this out. Obviously I filmed with that RS3 in the UK a few weeks ago. This is way more the kind of spec that I'd be after. It's green, and luckily doesn't actually have those stupid carbon ceramics. Actually very nice wheels as well. Yeah, that spec is how I think an RS3 hatchback should be spec, but that's what I would say. Got some other nice bits lurking down here as well. GT4 that apparently has an Akrapovic exhaust. That must sound a bit fruity. Very nice 488 Spider. Look at that 612 Scaglietti. This side we've got a 992 Targa, a Macan, and then a Huracan. And this is quite interesting because you might be looking at it thinking it is a Cayenne Turbo GT, but it's not, because look, it's a hybrid, apparently, with the Turbo GT kit. So you get the loud, shouty exhaust and the bits of aero and things like that. It's all a bit mad, but quite relevant. Because really the main reason I've come here today is to drive a real Cayenne Turbo GT, Porsche's answer to the Lamborghini Urus, Bentley Bentayga, RSQ, I don't know, super high performance SUV. So let's go and find, I was going to say the real deal, that is a real car and it's a Porsche fit accessory kit, but let's go and find the real Turbo GT. Now, I know I said we were going to go and find a Cayenne Turbo GT, but I did just ask the guys at Deal and Drive to bring this outside because, well, I'm not going to say I'm going to buy it, but I think I want to buy it because just look at it. I am obsessed with this thing. Now it's outside as well, we can have a proper look at the interior because check out these seats. Full sort of club sport car with the roll cage and the harnesses, but those inserts are perfect. PDK, which when I drove the 718 GT4 with the PDK gearbox for the first time, I think suits this car better than the manual. But yeah, this paint, like I said, I fell in love with it on the Adam LZ GT3, but on the GT4 with those wheels, I mean, this thing is blowing my mind. My man maths is going so insane right now because, don't forget, I previously dailied a 718 Cayman S. So this could legitimately replace the RS6. It's got similar practicalities, probably be better on fuel. But no, actually, there's no way of making man maths work on this, because a few years ago, it was actually relatively easy and sometimes actually cost effective to buy a left-hand drive car in Europe and take it back to the UK. But because of Brexit, well, let's not get involved in that whole chat, it's now actually an incredibly expensive thing to do, because this car is similarly priced to a UK car, but if I was to buy it, take it back to the UK and register it there, I'd have to pay insane import taxes, meaning that I'd end up with a GT4 at like 140 grand or something stupid, which, yeah, just wouldn't make any sense. If anyone knows of any hacks where I can buy this here and not have to pay the import tax or duty, let me know, because I just can't stop. I'm going to sit here for about half an hour now taking photos of this thing. But after that, we will go and find this Cayenne. I kind of don't want to anymore. Well, these trips always end up costing me so much money. Well, finally, there it is, the Cayenne Turbo GT. But before we talk about it, can we take a moment to appreciate this setting? This is Chateau Sept Fontaines. Awful pronunciation, I'm sure, built back in the 1700s by two brothers that had a big porcelain factory nearby. They wanted to build a house big enough for both of their families, so apparently it's kind of split in two, so it can be divided between two families. Over the years it was used by the army and then brought back into the family, and anyway, now it's kind of an event space. Apparently the gates are always open, so it makes the perfect setting for a car shoot, which I'm absolutely loving. Yeah, spot on. Anyway, this is not supposed to be an architectural tour of Luxembourg. We're here to talk about cars, and what a car this is. So this is Porsche's answer to the Lamborghini Urus, the Audi RS Q8, maybe a Bentley Bentayga, basically the more sporty of the super SUVs. This is their sort of Nürburgring lap record setting car. As you can see from the side, it's fairly aggressive because it's in coupe form. Of course, the Cayenne originally launched as a standard SUV, then they introduced this kind of coupe shape to help with sort of aero and sportiness as well. The first thing that I notice are the brakes, or maybe just the calipers. The size is absolutely ridiculous, but lots of aggressive details as you'll work your way around the car. I think especially around the back. From the front, I personally don't think it looks too dissimilar to many other Cayenne coupes, but I could be wrong. I'll be honest, Cayenne isn't a Porsche that I fanboy over, considering this whole video has been talking about how much I love Porsches and I think it's probably time that I get another one. Yeah, Cayenne hasn't always done it for me, but I'm assuming some of these bits down here are special for the Turbo GT. This car shares basically the same engine as the Urus and the RS Q8, being part of that VW family, so it's a big twin-turboed V8. This has just less than the Urus. I think it's sort of 630 odd horsepower. I might have just plucked that figure out of my head. RS Q8's just under 600, and then the Urus here is about 10 or 15 horsepower more than this. But it's got Porsche DNA, so I am assuming it's all going to be about that experience behind the wheel, the tightness, the stiffness, so Porsche DNA, which makes their cars so incredible to drive. Let me point out some more of that sort of aggressiveness though as we come around the back here. You basically have double, if not triple, kind of aero. You've got something up here, this little sort of ducktail there, but this is hiding an absolutely huge retractable spoiler that when it comes out adds a load of downforce to this car when it starts hitting up its top speeds. Also got this big aggressive carbon diffuser and these lovely and massive titanium exhaust pipes. Look at the colouring that that's getting. Car's been well used as a daily already. And yeah, it is cool. I don't think, apart from these elements around the back, actually look, if I come and stand here, you can see they've almost got little winglets as well on this kind of top rear wing. It's nowhere near as aggressive as the Urus, for example. It's probably in line, maybe a bit more with the RS Q8 in terms of its stance and its presence. So, let's start it up because I want you to hear it, then get behind the wheel and see what this thing is like. I was not going slowly around that corner, and it's just, the whole thing feels a bit sort of tighter, maybe a tad more serious, and actually, you know what, a tad more Porsche than the Urus. I applauded the Urus for being a Lambo. As much as I didn't love it, it is well and truly a Lambo. And here we go, let's pull an overtake. My God, I didn't have to try there. This is an overtaking machine. But it's one that doesn't come with much sort of silliness. And very few Porsches do come with silliness. They're all pretty serious about doing the job at hand. Setting the fastest lap time for an SUV at the Nürburgring. I'm doing that weird accent thing, which I promised I would stop doing because you guys don't like it. But yeah, this thing is super impressive. Here we go, here are some corners. Downhill, hard on the brakes. God, they are reassuring, those brakes. And yes, this is. Oh, how's a car this size doing this? This is now engaging driving and stuff is going everywhere. I'm getting a bit of understeering. Okay, I need to go back to the dealership. I'm going to get arrested. Oh, it's silly. It moves around, this car. Wow! And this is mad impressive. Mad impressive. As is that camo BMW 3 Series. Go on, lad, what a wrap. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what I hoped and expected this thing would be, if not maybe a little bit more. But having said that, I'm not sitting here going, this should be my next Porsche. I'm going to replace the RS6 with this thing. I don't think that's my route to go, because between you and I can't stop thinking about that GT4. It's literally, it's penetrated my brain. I'm driving this thing just thinking, oh, can't wait to get back and have a look over that GT4 some more. What's happened to me? Oh, it's going to be so expensive. Anyway, yes, sorry, back to Cayenne Turbo GT. So, if you're in the market for super insane performance SUV, should you consider this? Yes. If you're the kind of person who would consider a GT3 instead of an F8 Tributo or a Lamborghini Huracan, it just all comes down to which badge do you associate with the most, because this probably is the most Porsche of the super SUVs, and that 3 Series is trying to have a go, and this car will just demolish him whilst carrying the kids and all the shopping and the dog and everything you could possibly need. It's just hilarious. Anyway, let's go back to the GT4. Oh, what's this? I can't keep up with these guys. Oh my God, it's a Vantage F1 Roadster. Wow, that's a bit of kit, but there it is, my baby. Look at this thing. Fundamentally, what I've realised is what I love about this car is the spec. I've driven GT4 a couple of times, and as good as it is, I haven't really fallen in love with it. I just know that I'm fanboying over that thing because, yeah, the paint and the wheels and the interior and, oh, what it is making me realise, though, actually what this whole year is making me realise that, yes, it's time for another Porsche. You all saw this coming. Every time I sell one, it takes me about 6 months to go, I need another one. But I think I've cracked the fact that really the reason that I haven't really settled on a Porsche yet is I haven't had the right one. Maybe that's the obvious argument to make, but I think it's because I haven't had a GT product. So far on this trip, I've been plagued by 992 GT3 Tourings, then this. It's not going to happen quickly. It's not going to happen anytime soon. But I think I need to start getting a bit more serious about it, start putting some money aside, start thinking about how I can make it happen. Because honestly, I'm sitting here going, somebody somehow figure out how I can buy that car. And it would be a very unwise thing to do and probably lead to a divorce if I did it, but man's got to take risks every now and again. Anyway, it's been amazing coming down here to Deal and Drive. They've been incredible hosts. And at lunchtime, we actually filmed a completely separate, secret little video which will be going live next. And trust me, you don't want to miss that. It was ridiculous. So subscribe now, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. And I'll put the information to Deal and Drive's Instagram below. Give them a follow because, as you can see, there's always stupid stuff knocking around.